Hey, it's Ebon'e of 92Q, and this is RnB Vibes. I am with someone that I think I'm obsessed with you at this point of my life. Rosemarie, how are you?
Wow, no, because I cannot be bursting with love anymore with you. I'm just elated to be here. I feel so lucky. Oh man, just a few seconds that we've been talking, I feel just so lucky to be here with you today. So thank you again so much for having me here with you. I'm just
We're happy to have you as a musician. I mean, your music is just so enriched with emotion and such a narrative. Where does that come from?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd say at the very root of it, I have a very strong love for words and poetry and vocabulary and imagery through words. And as a kid, I feel like I struggled to express myself out loud. So one of the things that I always tended to turn to was writing my feelings down. And that didn't necessarily mean in like a form of like rhyming or poetry until later on. But I will say I always had a very particular and special relationship with writing words down to kind of like help me figure things out and help me express myself in that way.
Now, this is something that you've been doing since you were a kid, right? I think that I read something about how creativity was very important in your household due to what you kind of saw and dealt with your mom and all of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was always encouraged as a child creatively, which I feel like is critical and was imperative to how I kind of went that way with creativity. I think it was always a safe space for me and almost like a coping mechanism. And I just really enjoyed working through things that way. Yeah, my mom was super creative in more ways than one. My mom sang, but she could also paint. I'd seen my mom do murals. I'd seen my mom cook. I'd seen my mom make clothes. Like, it was just, her creativity was boundless. And I feel like that really instilled in me kind of, even to like doing her nails, like everything was art, you know what I mean? And I feel like it made me approach things in my own life, even that small as a kid, with just that sort of open mind of like endless possibilities with your creativity.
Now, when did the singing get introduced? I mean, from the writing and then, of course, seeing the painting, all that. When did you say, you know what, I got a voice and I'm going to open this up and show it to the world? When did that happen?
Oh, wow. You know what? I can't say. I never know how to answer this question because I don't know if there was a particular time that I remember that happening. I feel like I always answer this question by saying I think I was singing before I could even talk, because music is such a huge part of my family as well. So I don't know when I necessarily made the connection of me necessarily being what I thought was a good singer. I just remember that whenever I was a kid and I would sing, it would bring my family and my loved ones a lot of joy for whatever reason. And they really enjoyed it and they always asked me to do it. So I can't say that I really made the connection until I was a bit older than I think. I just knew it was something that I liked to do and that I had fun doing, and that it seemed that everybody else had a good time, as well.
See, I always have artists that tell me that they were afraid of their voice or afraid to even put themselves out there due to this fear of being an artist, or fear of somebody really hearing. Because when you sing, especially when you sing, it's a vulnerability, and you can hear, this is how I really feel.
I think with me, it was the exact opposite. I feel like I grew up and it was almost like second nature to me. And then I got a little bit older, and I feel like whenever you get older and you're more like cognizant of like judgment, and that's whenever those sort of like stage fright and I think other things that happen along, the way of your life that kind of try to steal that from you, you know what I mean? So then it makes you overthink stuff and want to crawl back in your shell. So I feel like for me, it happened the exact opposite. I feel like I was born and I was like open and I was just singing and I was just doing everything. And then the older I got, I think that that sort of vein was closing and closing and closing. And then I had to work really hard to be able to open it back up. I almost didn't pursue music because I was so afraid of and my like my stage fright and my fear of judgment and everything was just so overpowering that I almost was like, should I be a songwriter? Like, how can I kind of work through this? But we made it through. We still right. We still making it through. I'm just doing everything scared now. I don't run from the fear.
Well, I definitely can let you know that when I hear your tone and hear how you sing, I don't hear fear. I hear someone that is so well-rounded, someone that is like determined to, of course, go after her vision, which, by the way, love that one too. Love vision. I mean, really, you are all about being positive and being open to the prospects of what can be next. And so it's funny to me that there is this sense of fear, but of course, you're human, so it's just there. But now, as you're going on, about to go on tour and everything, you have to see, okay, I'm happy, I'm good, and it's gonna be all right.
For sure. I think me personally, I tend to overthink, and I feel so much and so deeply that I definitely just take things as they come, a day at a time, and I think that's what works best for me. It's gotten me this far, so but yeah, no, I'm definitely, that's literally my motto for 2024. Do it scared.
Ooh,
if you're not ready for it, you wouldn't have the opportunity. It wouldn't be, that door wouldn't open, so I'm just God's plan.
And he's got you. He got you covered, honestly, fully. I mean, now you just did the women's soccer league? Is that what I saw?
I did. That was crazy. That was nerve-wracking. That was the definition of doing it scared, for sure. No, yeah.
Wait, it was
crazy.
Such a great experience, though, right?
Oh my God, I literally was going on and on I was turned up for days off of that, for real. Like, I was just like, I try to make a habit of myself is like, whenever I do something that I feel like is way so far out of my comfort zone, I'm trying to like establish new neural pathways in my brain that like are positive. So I literally made it a point to say to myself after I got done and I had a moment, I was like, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. I did that. You know what I mean? And so then it really made a world of a difference and just gives me that much more confidence. I think the what I'm learning about myself is that I learn through experience, I think. And I gained so much more from that experience. So that was an amazing experience. My first national anthem, obviously in front of a crowd that big. It was definitely, monumental. I also recently got to do another one at the Galaxy, a home opener, a few weeks ago for a sold out stadium as well. And that was insane, but it was a little less scary because I had the one under my belt already. So I'm like, okay, I just got to do it one more time. But
and the next time we're going to see you the Super Bowl, we're going to see you do that too.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Wow, thank you for speaking that over me. God willing, man. I would love it.
Speak it into existence, right?
Exactly.
Now you're about to you're going on tour now. What is that moment for you now that you're about to go on tour? Is your mind together? What are you telling yourself? How are you prepping for this?
Woo! The same thing. I think I'm just doing it scared. I'm so excited. Honestly, I think I've thought of every possible scenario, but I feel like it's time. I feel ready, truly, deeply in my soul. I feel like, this is the next step for me in my career and sort of the big thing I have to take on. And I'm super grateful more than anything. I don't think I would have ever even imagined getting this far with music. So I feel like everything is just so such a blessing, honestly, truly. And I feel ready. I'm scared. I'm excited. I think the leading up to it, also, I'm super scared of flying. Like, I hate flying. And obviously, there's a lot of traveling.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's anxiety inducing for sure. But obviously, the takeaway and the reward is well worth that. So I think, yeah, I'm just ready. I'm just excited. Once I'm up there on the stage and I'm singing, I have such a great time. It's so different, and I wish that I want those moments to last forever. So I just get to do it again and again and again and again and again for a little while. So I'm really looking forward to what that feels like too.
Well, just know that your audience, I mean, wanting you, of course, to come to Nashville, but the audience always is very receptive of you. And I think it's because when you perform, you kind of give a family feeling, like, hey, we're in this together. You're not just enjoying and watching me sing. You're going to be doing this as an experience. And I think that is something that it's very highlight in the proof of your work when I see you perform and see you sing. This is why you got to come to Nashville, okay?
Oh my gosh,
this is a reason
so
why you have to come to Nashville.
I would know, definitely. You're just being so thoughtful with these compliments and the way that you're speaking over me. I really appreciate it, because that's something that's very intentional, because I really look at it as like an energy exchange, right? Like, you're there sharing your time and energy with me. I'm there doing the same. Like, it's a very like almost spiritual thing, essentially. You know what I mean? It's very, music is so near and dear to my heart, and I put a lot of myself into it. And so I'm so glad that translates so clearly, and that you mentioned that, truly.
Yeah, like I told you, I almost broke all my toes for you. So I have to be, I gotta, like, this is a reason. Like, I almost broke my toes for you, love. Like, we in this now. We in this.
Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna forget that.
Speaking about never be like, y'all, let me tell y'all about this girl that I did an interview with, and she told me she almost broke her toes listening to my, that's a fan right there. When you about to break your toe, don't break it when you're about to break it. That's when you a fan.
Wow, amazing. Oh yeah.
Well, listen, I told you, that was Henny Talk that got me. It was Henny Talk, and I think it was it's 03 with the Juvenile, right?
Yeah.
It was and I kept going. I mean, first, tell me, how did that even happen? The Juvenile collaboration and Synergy, from Synergy to now, where are we? I throw both questions. I'm throwing them at you.
Wow. Okay. So let me break it down.
Let's do it.
I had written the song 03 Love. At that time, I hadn't opened myself up to really work with co-writers at that time. So I was working on Synergy. I wrote the song, and then I had the idea of sampling that song by Juvenile. And I had brought it to Bird of Bird Vision, CEO, and he was just like, okay, yeah, but what about if we get him on it? And I, at that point, was like, oh my God, like I hadn't even considered that possibility. And Bird does the magic that Bird does, and he was able to make that happen. And then we heard the verse back, and I was just sitting there in like awe, like, just, I think throughout the whole process of it, they were like, okay, he got it, he heard it, he's vibing with it, he's gonna see what he does with it. And I was just, the fact that he was listening to my music, I was just like, this is crazy, like, just to know the fact that he had heard, you know what I mean?
Iconic.
Yeah, literally a legend. And we got the verse back, and he approached it in such a different way than I had ever even imagined. I think I sat there and I probably listened to it like 10 times, and I was like in true disbelief that I even had this on the song. And then he was just so gracious, so humble. He came and did the video with me. Him and his wife were just such a pleasure to be around, and we're just so kind and supportive, and they made it honestly such a great experience. That was my first even shooting a video with like a collaborator. That was like my first official, you know what I mean, collaboration. It was just such a great experience, and I can't even believe that it was with somebody who's a legend like Juvie.
Yeah, your first time being with Juvenile. I mean, let's go. That's it. I would have been like, yeah, cut the money. I'm done. That was pretty much my highlight. I'm great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. That would have been it for me. Personally.
No, literally.
And I love it. I mean, it's just a great story to tell. I mean, awesome. I mean, it's just great. So tell me now. Here we are. We got the Synergy project. All of it amazing. How we're now taking from Synergy to what's next? Because I saw, by the way, a shout out to whoever is in charge of your cover arts, because your new project, this rock paper scissors concept. I mean, while your head chopped off, but it is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I take a lot of pride in the thoughtfulness that goes into the process of everything. I'm super creative, and I think I try my best to tell the story that I want to tell in so many different ways. And I've been blessed with this amazing team who gets the right resources in order, that they make these sort of crazy ideas come to life for me. And help me kind of bridge the gap between like dreaming and reality. And it's been super crazy. But between Synergy and now the new project, Rock, Paper, Scissors, excuse me, there seems to be a very loud car out there. Can you still hear me?
You're
okay?
Fine, you're fine. I got you. Okay. I got you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think the main difference is that I experimented a little bit more and opened myself up more to collaboration, as far as like co-writing and collaborating with other creatives in that way. I feel like I always have the tendency to write heartbreak love songs, or have the tendency to write whenever I'm sad, or I feel like I have something to say. It's funny that you mentioned Vision, because I actually wrote Vision because one of my friends was like, why don't you try writing a song that's happy? And that's how that was sort of born. And so I don't know, but yeah, I think it was just I'm just learning so much more about myself. I think R&B grabbed me and like gripped me by the heart, and was like, it felt most natural to me to start in the music space, and what felt most natural to me as far as like writing. But I'm super excited to slowly start kind of pushing those limits and crossing genres and bending, experimenting with sounds. And I think Rock, Paper, Scissors is just the beginning of that, truly.
Are you going to continue? Are you going to continue mixing the Spanish culture with an R&B sound? Are you going to still keep that going?
I have a whole Spanish project locked and loaded, ready to drop later this year, that I'm super excited about. That's the same thing. That's sort of like genre bending, stylistically, sonically. That was a blast to create, and definitely pushed me outside of so many comfort zones. But for sure, more Spanish stuff, and just diving deeper into that culturally, and you know, getting closer to that for me was super important, because it's a huge part of who I am personally, and I wanted that to showcase in my artistry as well. So I'm super glad that it's almost time to show that side as well. So I'm so glad that you asked.
Yeah, because you give us an introduction to it within your music. Like, as I'm listening to your music, or I'll see the titles, I'm like, that's a word I've never seen before in my life. That's a Spanish word. So yeah. So I was sitting there, I'm like, learning that's something new. So you really do not just, of course, invite us into your artistry, but also to your culture. And I, as a fan, I am definitely one that's like, thank you for it. It's a new insight, and I love how you, of course, bring R&B to a whole different level, and seeing how it's not just one way, but it definitely can go in verses, you know, different cultures, and mixing it all up and stuff. I appreciate that.
For sure. Thank you so much. I think I feel like now is such a great time. There's so much like experimenting going on, so many people trying new things, and So I feel like people are a lot more open and ready to receive sort of more experimental things and more originality and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's a great time for that, and I'm super excited for what's to come as far as that stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, well, so tell me this new project that you have. I think Is It Real, right? With Roddy Ricch?
Yes, the latest single, Is It Real, with Roddy Ricch. That was another crazy story. I think I was excuse me, I think I went into that a little intimidated just because I think of him as such a giant. Obviously, he's part of my extended family. I've known him for a handful of years, and I've kind of been lucky enough to be around to see the trajectory of his career and the work that it took to get there, and just how special he is and how talented he is as an artist. So we had worked together in the past, but it was time, I feel like, for us to kind of meet each other where we were currently. I feel like I'd done a lot of growing since our last music. He obviously has been through crazy, superstardom and so many things since then as well too. So it was just super fun, but also I was definitely intimidated. I felt like I had a tall order to fill, and I felt like I had to hold my weight, essentially, you know what I mean? But I think it pushed me creatively, and in the end I was super happy and proud of the outcome. I think I did all the vocal production on that, and I was super proud of that because I felt like that was something that I really wanted to kind of hone in on with that record specifically, and just pushing my pen, and just it was really a great experience. So I'm super proud of that song, and I think it's so special, and it's definitely one of my favorites on this project for sure.
Well, trust and believe, when it comes to holding your weight, that's never a question mark. You killed it, that project.
Thank you.
I saw even I guess it's like the making of the video which you was posting on your Instagram, and I was just like, stunning. I'm in love.
Oh,
where is my ticket to come? Because I just want to be there. The next one, you just looked amazing, and the song sounds great. Y'all actually pair very well together. So I hope more projects together come in the future.
Thank you so much. Again, he made the video process so much fun. It was directed by Ash, who's on this call, who's a multi-hyphenate creative who wears many hats, and he killed that. And it was just, he was great, like super supportive. I felt like we were both, I feel like, pushing each other as performance-wise with like our little acting parts. We're like, hold on, you can't out-act me. Like, hold up, wait. So I feel like we had such great energy, and he just made it super fun, and definitely would look forward to making more stuff with him.
Well, I promise, I told you I'm not trying to hold you long, but I think that I have this energy with you, and I'm like, I can talk to you for days.
I love it.
Yeah, that actually means you do definitely have to come to Nashville. That way I could just be like, hey, y'all, just go to lunch. We're gonna stay here for a minute.
I would love that for sure.
Well, just tell me, if somebody's first hearing you, their first time hearing your sound, how would you like for them to be able to hear you? What do you want them to know about you? My first time hearing you, what do I need to know?
As far as like musically or personally, or
musically,
are we talking about like which songs would I want the person to listen to first?
Yeah, what is the first song that says, you know what, this is the best stuff, this is what I can give you, that's gonna be like, you know what, you're gonna stay around, all of them for me.
I feel like you're so sweet. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. But honestly, I feel like Henny Talk is a great introduction. And I feel like that song is so special to me because on Synergy, I felt like, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of those songs I think I wrote in a very intimate setting, and I didn't even realize how that affected my creativity. So I felt like a lot of the time I was writing in between my two jobs. I'm a single mom, so I would be writing late at night on my porch, so I would have to keep it down. So I feel like I didn't even know how that was influencing my creativity. And with Henny Talk, I feel like that was the first song that I kind of like pushed past that, and I wanted to be intentional with the way I was using my voice, how I was projecting, the notes, how I approached it. So I felt like that was like a turning point in my creativity with it. So I feel like that's such a special song to me, and I still love to sing it to this day, even though it's a few years old at this point. But I still
it's
I literally on tour, that's the first song on my set list right now. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's almost like a comfort place for me. It's such a special song. So I would definitely say Henny Talk. What else? Henny Talk. Moving into Rock, Paper, Scissors. I think it depends on your mood, for real. Because I always try to include a little bit of everything. But personally, I tend to lean towards sad, slower stuff. So another song that's super, super, super special to me is Breaking. It's like kind of the acoustic song. That song is kind of heavy, but I feel like it's telling in the way that I use this to really, like I said, I've used it as a means to cope, as a means of expression, as a means of therapy, and I feel like that translates really clearly in that song, because it's almost like a diary entry page. You know what I mean? So I feel like aside from that, I have a little bit of everything. So hopefully that'll lead them somewhere that they like.
It will. And like, I'll tell anybody, like, if I was about to break my toes for Henny Talk, you got to listen to it. Okay. I almost lost toes to it. So you got to listen to it.
Okay. We're on the same page. We're on the same
page. Well, again, I thank you so much for sharing your space and talking to me and just being open with me. I hope that you come to Nashville at some point, because you have to. You're an amazing artist. You're a wonderful person. And I would love to talk more with you. I feel like we can go on for days, but I know we got to go soon. So guys, please make sure you, as you are listening to RnB Vibes, you catch the vibes that we're throwing of this beautiful queen, the one, the only, the Spanish, the sultry, the R&B artist, Miss Rosemarie.